Well, g'day everybody, and welcome to our first look of Legend of Keepers. Legend of Keepers has just been released in version 1.0 with a couple of updates. It's 1.0.2 now. Thank you to the developers for sending a copy to the channel for us to have a first look at. Now, a lot of you guys know I love games, absolutely love games like this. I don't play them a lot on my channel because they don't tend to do very well. So I'll just get that out of the way, but I do love games. I play these games personally a lot when I do have spare time, that is, when I do actually have spare time. But Legend of Keepers is a cross between a dungeon defender and a roguelike type game. Now, I have had a playthrough. It does include the ability for modding and stuff like that, but I have had a playthrough of it so far. But what we are going to do is we are going to do a new save, as you can see there. I've already worked up to level 3 when I was having a go of this. All right, so new save. We will call this YouTube. Oh, yes, YouTube. Okay, so that is the one that we want to do. We will create that game. Now, basically, no, we won't launch the tutorial. All right, so in effect, we have 3 characters up here.
Inevitable.
We have. Okay, so we have the Enchantress that I haven't unlocked yet. You've got to get to level 5 to unlock.
So many ideas.
We also have the Engineer, which you need to get to level 6, and the default character that we start off with is the Slaveholder. Now, the idea of this is that as opposed to, say, a normal RPG or roguelike where you're the hero and you're going through and you're killing all the baddies and stuff, it is your job. You're employed by the evil side of things to actually protect the treasury from heroes who are attacking your dungeons. So it is your job to set up a defense in each dungeon to protect that gold and prevent those heroes from getting to the gold and slaying all the monsters. We'll talk about some other things as we go. We've got one talent point to do. Now, what have we got here? Each time a monster is defeated grants 10 to 20% chance that the master gains shell 1, which reduces the damage to the master being the slaveholder there. Grants to the master 50 out of 100% chance to gain enraged each time he takes damage, which is actually pretty cool. Damage and morale dealt increased by 10%. And wait until I tell you about the morale system and stuff. It's awesome. Intimidation deals 10 to 20 additional morale damage. When a hero is defeated by a monster, grants 10 to 20% chance that the group of monsters gain enraged 3. Damage and morale dealt increased by 30. So I'm going to go that one, and you will see why in a minute. All right, so down here is your roster of the monsters that you do have, and each of them have different stats. They have different weaknesses and different strengths, as well as a list of traps. So we will go through that as we go. All right, so we are going to start off at the very, very start.
Let's get to work.
And here we go. I will explain this as we
Welcome to
go.
the company, Mog. I am delighted to have you with us. We'll need your fabled management techniques. We're putting you in charge of a little team in the Old Empire, a region overrun by humans. It's up to you to gather the monsters in the area and teach them how to defend themselves. Turn them into great employees, ready to give their lives multiple times for the company.
Excellent, excellent. So that is our job. We're in charge of training and building up some monsters to defend the company and to defend the company's gold, as you can see, and we are the people that we normally fight in an RPG when we're the heroes. So, which is really, really exciting. All right, so here we go. Each one is set up in a week. So we've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, etc. We are currently in week 1, and sometimes you will have three different choices here. But for week 1, we only have one choice, and as you can see, it's a 2-sword difficulty. And there is a reward of a monster and 85 to 125 gold. Now, these are just adventurers coming in. Now, you will get unique and elite humans and adventurers and stuff to fight as you go further in. So this is in the Frozen Caves. It's normal difficulty. Let's click on that and we will start. All right, so we start off in a preparation phase. Now, in the preparation phase, what we need to do is we need to place monsters, traps, and all that type of stuff through the dungeon until we get to the boss, which is us, which is the Slave Master, and try and prevent these three adventurers, from getting through to the boss. Now, if they do get through to the boss fights them and kills them, or doesn't kill them and they reach the treasure and you've failed, or kills them and you've still succeeded. Every time these monsters that you deploy into the battlefield are defeated and killed by these, they lose morale, which is those points basically there. Okay, so the very first and most important thing to do is to, when you're setting up a dungeon, is to see what you're dealing with. So as you can see here, this is Zardnan. Now, Zardnan is weak to fire and very weak to nature. You can see that in the I wish I could actually, I can click on it. So very, very weak to nature, very weak to fire. He does air damage. His skill is to replace one of the penalties with a bonus at the end of her turn. Sorry, her. At the end of her turn once. So I'm guessing it's once during battle. She attacks the front row, so whoever's in the front row, and does 45 air damage. Over here we have Mira. She does 28 fire damage to the person in front. It ricochets once to the monster positioned behind the target if the target is defeated. Her skill is deals 12 ice damage to the monster with the lowest ice resistance at the start of each fight, which is a pretty nasty one, really. She is weak to armor, weak to nature, and weak to air. So there you go. And she attacks the front. The person at the back here, which is Monthoth, he does area damage over the whole 3 slots there. Does 20 fire damage to each person. Randomly moves all monsters to another position at the start of the first fight. I don't like that. And the reason why I don't like that is because when you're setting these up, you may need a really armored person, like a tank sitting in the front row, because the front's getting attacked by everybody most of the time. Now, if you put that in there, when the fight starts, right, then this little dude here just swaps all those characters around. So it kind of negates and gets rid of the whole idea of you laying this out. So what we're going to do, what we have here is we've got Gromok. Gromok has a 120 health and strength of 50. 35 physical damage, applies bleeding, so minus 10 life on the next turn, which is pretty good, and an area effect of minus 15 morale. We'll talk about morale at some point a little bit later. Swaz only has 50 health, 35 physical damage to the back row, 35 nature damage and applies poison to the front row, 15 nature damage on the next turn. Now, if you remember, he is very, very weak to nature damage, so we are going to utilize that. Then we have Sphenoid here that does 50 nature damage and applies poison 2 with a further 10 nature damage on the next turn, and for the area, 15 nature damage on everybody with poison 1. Right, so what I'm going to do is, now I don't know whether these guys actually randomly, it says they randomly move people around, so what I'm going to do is I am going to hope that, let's see, he's got 55 and he has 50, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place him there. I'm going to place him there, and I'm going to place him there, and I'm hoping that when this dude at the start of the turn randomly swaps everybody around, that we have Gromok sitting at the front. We may not, so I don't know. All right, so this is the first phase, which is monsters. Our next phase will be to, once we confirm this, will be to set a trap. Now, we have 3 different traps here. There are other traps, and you can upgrade these, obviously, but there are other traps that you can purchase as well as you go further in. Rallying Horn, which is an area effect, minus 10 morale, and applies Enrage 3 to the next group of monsters. Damage and morale dealt increased by 30% for the next lot of monsters. We've got -10 morale, applies demoralize 2, -10 morale on next turn, and the circular saw, which applies 10 physical damage and applies bleeding 2. So I kind of really like the saw. The reason why is because it does that 10 physical damage, but then it's -10 on the next turn as well. I believe it's -10 on the next 2 turns, which kind of helps quite a lot. So we'll confirm that. That phase that we just jumped past was a spell. Now our main character has spells, and that spells, those spells, you can sort of do one of those spells on that one, but we'll see that when we get into it. In this one here, I am going to, I think I am going to use this -10 morale. Now, these characters, once they lose a lot of their morale, you can make them run away crying. When you run away crying, you collect tears, and you can actually use tears to upgrade your equipment and stuff like that, but we'll see that very, very soon. Alright, next stage is monsters again. Now this guy is going to randomly move everybody around, so I am going to throw him there. Now as you can see, he's really, really weak to fire. He's got the -65 on fire there. He does 50 ice damage. This guy is really weak to ice, so that will be good to attack him if he's still alive. This guy here, again, let's throw him in there in the hope that this works out quite well. Now, let's see, he's weak to armor and ice, and he's strong against fire, obviously because he's fire. Now, I think it was her that was, somebody here was weak to fire. Okay, the guy in the first row was weak to fire. Alright, so let's confirm that one. Let's move through to the next one, and here we are. We are the boss. Alright, so here we go. So in they come. And they've randomly moved around, and that worked really, really well for us. So that was really good. So you can see that that our kind of tanky dude, although he's not super tanky, ended up in the front, which is what I really, really wanted. So that was good. These are the adventures here. They are unwavering at the moment because the damage taken is unchanged. And you can see they get to frantic, worried and frantic and stuff. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attack. Now we have Poison Dagger, 35 nature to the front. This guy, as we know, is really susceptible to nature. And we also have 35 physical damage doing a goblin trick for the back row. Now, it would be good to get rid of him so that he doesn't swap everybody around, but we kind of do need to keep him alive because we have set up our third lot so that he can spin them around. So we're going to Poison Dagger. He will Poison Dagger to the guy in front, applies poison. There we go. Now we've got Poison Arrow, 50 nature damage, poison +2 for the back row, and 15 nature damage with 5 nature damage on the next turn, which is an area effect as well. This guy is not susceptible to nature damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a Toxic Volley in because these two ladies are really susceptible to nature damage. Okay. So we're probably going to lose a character here. Yes, we did. Okay, that's fine before he even got a turn there. Poison Dagger on the guy in the front again. So we shall do that. Excellent. She's taken her Poison Dagger. Okay, we're pretty lucky there. And Poison Arrow, no. Area effect, 15 poison again. There you go, which will bring their health down a little bit more. So somebody's going to die. No, they didn't yet. Alright, he's dead. Now, Goblin Trick, we should be able to take this guy out. And as you can see, there's a skull there with a target on the forehead. That means we're going to take him out. So that's probably a good first run. He's going to completely die now. There we go. So they will move into the next point, which is the trap. There we go. Moving into the next point. Now in this stage here, we get to apply one of our spells. We've got Intimidation, which you can see is this purple If the morale drops to 0, the hero will flee, and then you will be able to collect tears. Now, you need to strategically play this because you collect blood and you also collect tears, and that's how you upgrade stuff. So sometimes you do need to just work on people's morale if you can. So morale taken from attacks and traps increased by 50%. If we do intimidation, they lose -24. We've got Show No Mercy, which applies Enrage to the next group of monsters. And we've got Burning Whip. And you can see that highlights the damage that will be taken. 60 fire damage, applies Burn 3, 5% of maximum life as fire damage per turn. So we will do that, and we will take her out. Perfect. Alright, now we've got another trap here. They are having their damage done, and then they just lost 10 morale from that. And these guys have basically gained a buff now, as you can see, Enraged. They've engaged. What's she doing? Oh, okay, they're petting. So they've engaged. They've received Enraged for 3 turns. Okay, perfect. Now, she is not susceptible to fire. He is susceptible to ice. So what do we got? -12 morale, 78 fire damage, 50%, 60%. That's on the front row. Skill 2 deals 2 ice damage to the monster with the lowest ice resistance. That's for the -12 morale. So well, that's a tough one. I think we're going to damage this guy at the back. I know that he's not quite susceptible to fire damage. All right, so what we've got now is Ice Block, because he is, as you can see, -50. He is susceptible to ice damage. So we can actually take him out in one hit. We also have Freezing Breath, which reduces their speed by 40. But I am going to just take this guy out. And he is gone. Now he didn't fling them around, so I'm guessing that his skill only lasts once. Okay, so what have we got? We've got we can take her out as well. And as you can see, we've taken those 3 adventurers out, and they didn't get to our boss. All right, so we've got 123 gold coins for that. We've got 12 blood that have gone into our thing, and Hero's Scared. We didn't gather any tears, so you can see our tallies down here. We've got 473 gold. We have 3 different characters here. Now this guy can attack the back row with ice damage, or the center row with -40 morale damage and demoralize 3. Heroes adjacent to the target take 30% of morale dealt to the target. Okay. 18 nature damage as an area effect and 30 air damage and -30 morale. Applies Bounty 5. The monster who defeats this hero gains 2 motivation. That is really good. That is really good. And we've got the Harpy there. Area effect 18 air damage and applies 3 haste to monsters in front of her. 60 air damage applies Tiredness. I think we're going to go with this guy. I haven't played this guy before, so that should be good. It's actually the first time. Now you can see that these guys have lost a couple of morale there too, because these guys got killed in the battle, so it's worth noting that. Right, so that's our first dungeon. Now if we click on here, I don't think we have any. We don't have any further talent points that we can do. So we're only at this point now. We can move through there once we've cleared all of this and gone through all of the weeks. Now in here is some different sort of buffs that you can apply to your character there. So, and we'll have a look at those soon. Like they're artifacts basically. So if we have a look at this one here, damage dealt by monsters to heroes at their maximum life increases by 100%. So any hero that attacks with their maximum life, if you have that as a buff, then that's what happens. So that's kind of self-explanatory. Let's go back here. Now the other thing that we do have is we have our roster here. which is these are the traps that we are carrying. We have no traps in stock, so these are the traps that we have at the moment. Now these we'll be able to eventually upgrade, and this is the roster, so you can have 6 people in a roster to choose from, which if you run these rosters, see if we throw Henry over there, if you run these rosters well enough, then what you will get is you will be able to get yourself sort of somebody who specializes in something specific, so that you can select them depending on what heroes you get, because the heroes you get coming through are random. You can also throw these guys over to the garrison. Now, when you throw these guys over to the garrison, then they regain these points here. Now you got to watch that. But we're not going to do that at the moment. We're just going to go straight into the next week, which is week 2. We've got the trainer. Spend some gold to train your active monsters. Buy a monster or a trap from this unscrupulous merchant, and an event which can be anything random. It can be good or it can be bad. I suggest what you really want to do is you want to start leveling your leveling your characters up as you go, as much as you sort of can, and definitely leveling your traps up, especially if you have a trap that you really, really like. So you can see with Swaz here, if we level him up, he gets a passive attacks apply bleeding 3 -15 on next turn, which is absolutely awesome. So any attack that he does is going to apply bleeding 3 and give -15 life. Gromik applies Enrage to the other monsters of the group when the orc is attacked. So every time he's attacked, then everybody else in the team gets Rage. Front attacks apply 1 additional stack of poison, and back gains dodge 1 and +40 speed on the start of the fight. Back into he's the same, so he'll do the same. Exodus, 60 fire damage to the front, applies burn 3, 5% of maximum life. That is actually cool because it gives us the option of attacking with fire front or back. So I kind of really, really like that. Passive gains Enrage 3 when a monster of the group is defeated. And for Henry, applies Enhanced Trap to the next trap when the skeleton scientist is defeated. Deals 100 plus 100% damage once. I am really considering doing this one, which is a spell. So let's train him in that. Let's train him in that because bleeding is really, really good. Now we've got 248. Do we continue to train these guys up? I kind of don't like that. I'm not sure whether that means the back gains dodge 1 and +40 speed at the start of the fight. I don't know whether that's your team or their team. Front attacks apply 1 additional stack of poison. See, I mean, that's not too bad, is it? Enraged is pretty good, and that's not too bad either. But we've got him in the back row, so I think we might upgrade this guy and train that. Now, I know some people probably wouldn't want to train their monsters as quickly as they can, as quickly as I am here. Let's resume. But I found that in the initial stages, sort of upgrading your monsters, getting a balance between upgrading your monsters and upgrading your traps are pretty good. So now you can see that was the only choice that we can take on week 2. Week 3, we have 3 different choices, right? We've got Merchant, buy a monster or a trap. Some tax officials have come to collect. Good job, they drink blood. So they're basically tax officials and they take blood off you in return for, I think, coins, or you can divert them to tears. I can't remember, but we'll have a look at that at some point. Or a random event. So I think we're going to go a random event on this one, guys. Thirst for Revenge. A young man manages to sneak up to you and threaten you with a rusty blade, his face streaked with angry eyes. He seeks to avenge his family, tortured and devoured before his eyes. You can gently pat him on the shoulder and show him the exit, amuse yourself with his suffering, or offer him as a gift to your employees. Now, this is where we go. So basically we can offer, we can spare for 15 tears, or we can torture. for 15 blood. What I'm going to do is, because I want to try and keep a balance of these two here, is I'm going to spare him. So I'm just going to pat him on the shoulder and show him the exit. There we go. As you can see, we've got some tiers there. Now we have trainer. Spend some gold to train your active monsters. Obviously, we don't have enough gold for that, which is why this is up here. So we will go the event on this one. Lost adventurer. While wandering around in the corridors this morning, you came face to face with a human. He seems as surprised as you are. What are you going to do? We can kill him for 15 blood, scare him for 15 tears, or capture him for 115 gold. All right, that's a tough one, because I wouldn't mind the 150 gold. We definitely get blood quite a bit when we're doing when we're defending a dungeon. It's harder to get hold of tears, so they're kind of worthwhile getting as well. But I think for this one we're going to take the money. There we go, we've captured him. And these are adventurers here. All right, so let's go in and we'll do one more before we finish this video, guys. We'll do one more dungeon. So what do we got here? We've got he's weak to fire and air. Does 50 nature damage to the front row. So what we need to do is make sure that the front row he's not susceptible to nature damage. 40 physical damage to the back row, and 19 ice damage, and applies elemental weakness. Resistance is reduced by 20. Also heals 25% one hero's maximum life. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that this whoever's at the front is not susceptible to nature damage. So yeah. So these two guys here, obviously we want if we're being attacked on the front, back. See, they've got a kind of a mixed attack there. It's not like we need a super tank on the front. Now he attacks the front with physical damage. I'm going to stick him on the front. I'm going to stick him in there, and I'm going to stick our little dude there. Let's confirm that. Okay, we will go the circular saw. I look forward to upgrading that. I think I got it up to level 3 in my initial playthrough there. So 50 ice damage to the back. Are you susceptible to ice? No, you're not. No, neither are you, but you are susceptible. So there's no point in having him in the team. 18 nature damage, which is over the area, and 30 air damage and minus 30 morale. He is, yeah, because he's susceptible to air damage there. She's an area attack, so ice damage, and she attacks the back with 40 physical damage, which means he's not going to last very long. So I might actually throw him in the middle here. Let's see. He is. She does ice. No, here we go. Physical damage. So we want somebody who's quite armored up on the back row there. Yes, we'll throw him over there, and we will throw you in there. I'm not putting him in because nobody's really susceptible to any ice damage. You can see he's susceptible to fire damage, which this guy does as well. Let's throw that over there. Let's place another trap. We've got bone catapult, which is minus 10 morale. Let's try that one so that you can see that one working as well. And then we get to our dungeon master, which is us. All right, here we go. All right, that was a poison dagger. So here's 20 nature damage on next turn. So you can see that's kind of highlighted there. All right, poison dagger to the front row, 50 nature damage. He is not really susceptible to nature damage. Our other one is goblin trick, which is 40 physical damage to the back. So I think we might do that. Because I don't like her heal. I don't like her ability to heal for 25%. So that's applied 3 bleed, which should be pretty cool. Okay, they've all had their turn. All right, so now we go poison arrow for the back row, which is 50 nature damage. She's neither susceptible or strong against nature damage. And for the area effect, that's 15 nature damage to everybody. So I'm just going to go that on this one. There we go. she's done that. We really need him to get some to get something happening. All right, so we've got Scream of Terror, which is minus 15 morale, or Cleaver, which also gives minus 10. So we'll go that. That's minus 10 on next turn. He'll lose minus 10. Poison Dagger again, or Goblin Trick. I think we might go. So she's still got one more of 5 nature damage, and then she's got minus 10 on her next turn. So she's going to lose 15 health. This one does 40 physical damage to the back row. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I think we'll just go the back row and hope that we can take her out before the end of this turn. Somebody's going to die. There we go. Purely because, yes, we can, so that she doesn't heal anybody, including herself. So, because she could have. Oh, there we go. All right, perfect. And he's going to die as well. All right, do that and apply some bleeding. There we go. 2 bleeding to the person on the front row. There we go. There's one of those. And we can apply burning, which also does damage per turn, which is just going to completely take him out. So we're going to go that for now. There we go. When he comes into this one, he should die. He should die. There we go. Yep, he's died. All right, perfect. Okay, now, this is the one that I was really excited about. So now, she's automatically front row now. So we've got air damage and morale damage, or 18 damage. So what's she? She's neither here nor there for air damage. So we're going to do pheromones. There we go. Look at her morale go right down. I mean, we could really work on her morale. So that's minus 9 and then minus 10 next turn. Fire column will give her 60 fire damage, which we could really take her out, or we could make her cry. If I make her cry, then if I try and make her cry and run away so you guys can see that, then I know that she's probably going to get through to the next boss and these guys are all going to lose their lives, but it might be fun. 65 damage and... see, if she's affected by at least 2... She's affected by... if she's affected by 2 penalties, then that would do 30 morale damage. That would have been really, 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 really good. I think I'm just going to fire on her. I think I'm just going to do that. Alright, he's been poisoned. Scream of Terror, minus 15 morale. Or I can cleaver her and cause bleeding. I might try and make it run away, just so that you guys can see that. So, pheromones, 30 air damage and minus 30 morale, and applies bounty. There we go. Hopefully she's, yeah, she's taken him out, which is a bit of a bum because I was going to see minus 15 morale there. Or cleaver. I mean, I can take her out that turn. Either way, I think she's going to die anyway. So let's see if we can do another morale boost there. Now you can see that she's starting to get frantic. So, see, we're doing air damage and nature damage. No matter what, she's going to die in this anyway. That's unfortunate. I was hoping that I was kind of hoping that that we could have got her right down to 0, so you guys could see her run away. There we go. She's out anyway, and we successfully did that. Now we have Skeleton Soldier, Skeleton Dog, 30 physical damage and bleeding times 3. Enhanced resistant to the monster of the group at the front and guaranteed critical to the one at the back. Oh, that's pretty good. Monster behind the Skeleton Soldier take 15% less damage. That's pretty good. And the Executioner, 30 ice damage and 10 morale on the back row. Minus 40 morale and demoralized. Heroes adjacent to the target take 30% of morale. That's pretty good too. Oh, that's going to be a really, really, really hard one. I think that I am probably going to go... Guaranteed critical's pretty good. Ice damage and let's see. This it's got a double spell there. Ice damage and morale and demoralized on the person in the center is actually pretty cool too, because we don't really have any center attacks. However, that's pretty good. I think we might go him, I reckon. Yes. Oh, hang on a sec. Yeah, I reckon we're going to go him. I'm going to try him out at some point, but I'm going to leave this one here. It was a little bit longer. You can see that these guys have gone in here. What we can do now is we can go here and we can throw these guys over here and they can get a rest, a little bit of a rest. And let's see, Swaz has 3 of 2. So what we might actually do is throw him in there. You can see that they're healing, but they heal as we do our turns. I might actually throw you over there, and I might throw him over there as well. Okay, cool. And then we'll do that next turn, and then they'll gain morale next turn as well, which will be pretty cool. But there we go, guys. Our first look. This is an awesome game. You've really got to think about it, and it really promotes like really thinking about what you're doing and how you're doing it, which is actually pretty amazing. So I'm really enjoying this. I enjoyed it when I had my first playthrough, and I'm really enjoying it now, and I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how far I get. But if you like this game, then please hit like. Don't forget there will be a link below for this game if you do want to get it for yourself. Version 1 has been released, and it is absolutely awesome. I apologize about the longer video for this one, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.